What's up, family? Man, this is going to be heavy. This is going to be heavy for some of you, and man, it's rough. You know what I mean? It's rough. I've been thinking about this all night. Woke up this morning. Like, okay, God, you know what I mean? This is what we're supposed to be talking about. So, man, and I couldn't remember the name of the syndrome that I'm going to talk about. And I was like, God, what is it? What is it? As I'm showering, shaving, thinking about it, and it comes to me. It's like, okay, this is what we're supposed to be going into on today. Yesterday, I was talking about perspectives. I did a live yesterday, and I was talking about perspectives. And man, I talked about how I was racist against white men, okay? And some couple of people had chimed into my, well, it's just your experiences that you've gone through in the comment section. And family, to be honest with you, I haven't experienced anything negative from white men. You know what I mean? I haven't experienced anything traumatic from the hands of a white man that caused me to be prejudiced. Okay? I became prejudiced because I chose to get on that frequency. I wasn't aware that I was choosing to get on that frequency. Okay? I didn't start out prejudiced. I wasn't prejudiced in high school. I didn't become prejudiced until I got in the military. And it wasn't because white people were doing certain things to me. I was mistreated by black people far more than I've ever been mistreated by white people. It's always been black guys because of the East Coast, West Coast shit that I ran into problems with in the military. But never white guys. I became prejudiced toward white guys because I started reading so much Malcolm X and just all this shit that started going on and that was going on in our country during the civil rights movements, the cross burnings, and just all the stuff with Marcus Garvey and just all that, how they were mistreating my Native American ancestry. I started reading my own stuff and just looking into that stuff deep. And I chose to respond in a racist mentality. I chose to respond with hatred towards white men. It wasn't because what they've done to me personally. Okay? Why am I talking about that? Because there's a thing called Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome. And I'm going to read to you guys what this is. You know what I mean? It says, Stockholm Syndrome is an emotional response. It happens to someone, to some abuse and hostage victims when they have positive feelings toward an abuser or captive. I'm going to read that to you again. Stockholm Syndrome is an emotional response. It happens to some abuse and hostage victims when they have a positive feelings towards an abuser or captive. What is Stockholm Syndrome? Stockholm Syndrome isn't a psychological diagnosis. Instead, it is a way of understanding the emotional response some people have towards a captor or abuser. Why am I reading that to you guys? What's that got to do with the great majority of us? Because the truth be told, the great majority of us are fucked up with that Stockholm Syndrome. Just keep the shit real. And we don't even understand it. What I mean by that. See, because here's the trick. Now, I told you guys, my father was abusive. My father, man, he made it known he didn't like me. You know what I mean? He rejected me early on. You know what I mean? He made that clear. You know what I mean? I was sexually abused twice by black guys in church. Stay with me. I had an uncle who beat the shit out, just dogged me the fuck out as a little kid. Beat the snot out of me. Why am I talking about this stuff? Because so many of us, we take on this Stockholm Syndrome. What I mean, we go all out for our abusers. And I see this so often in women. Women who've gone through traumatic experiences in relationships. They bend over backwards for the person they're in a relationship with that's fucking them over, that's dogging them the hell out. Guys do it too, but it's more prevalent in women. Guys do it too, though. Okay? And so you see these women who, man, they know this dude ain't shit. They know he's dogging her the fuck out, abusing her verbally, emotionally, physically, every way you can. And she's so loving and giving. And she's just like, ah, baby, what the da-da-da-da. And she's just all for him. It's an emotional response. And we don't even understand, we don't even realize we're making that emotional response. I made that same emotional response towards my father. And many of us have made those responses towards our parents, towards people that we loved, and but they dogged us up. They treated us like we were like they were the fucking enemy. You know what I mean? What I mean by that? They were supposed to be loving and compassionate towards us. They were supposed to be family. And they dogged us the fuck out. They were supposed to be family. They were supposed to be loving and nurturing and helping us reach our full potential. And they dogged us every way they could. They treated us like we was the fucking enemy. And yet, all we wanted to do was to show them love and mercy and compassion and to do more. And we took on that victim mentality. It's my fault. I must be doing something wrong. Oh, I said the wrong thing. Oh, I didn't do this right. Oh, I cooked the meat a little too long. Oh, the meat's a little too dry. Oh, the meat's not seasoned just right. Oh, the rice is a little overdone. Oh, the rice is not cooked just enough. And we got all these fucking things that we blame ourselves for because we know they're going to go fucking left on us. We know they're going to abuse us and dog us out and beat the shit out of us and just abuse us emotionally and psychologically. We know we about to catch hell. We've been catching fucking hell from these people. And it's like the more they treat us like shit, the more they treat us like the fucking enemy, the more we want to do for them. The more we try to love them. The more we try to be there for them. The more we try to understand them. And we're trying to talk and rationalize things with these people. And they're not even at that level to have an intelligent, rational conversation with you. It's a trip. But then there's other people that'll do something to us. Anything, the slightest small thing to us. Or it could be something big. And we'll lose it. Now we want to go to war with these people. We want to go to war with this person because, man, I had this white lady reach out to me on Facebook, and she told me that I became part of this reading group. And she told me that, man, she wasn't feeling my vibe, my energy with the whoop. She didn't think I should be part of this and blah, 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 blah. She didn't understand, and she just made it known. She was part of the admin team. She made it known, blah, 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 blah. And so I'd never done anything to this lady. I've given her a couple of readings that were spot on. But she didn't want to accept it and hear it from me. Stay with me. So finally, she reached out. She sent me a message, text message. And she was telling me that, man, it's not you. It was never you. You were just a trigger because of your skin color. You was just a trigger. Because what happened to me in my past, there were some black guys. I know they weren't you. I know you had nothing to do with this. But there were some black guys that raped me. And when I see black guys, I'm partly prejudiced now. And so just my skin color was a trigger to her for what these other people did to her. I worked in the prison. I was talking to this group of guys. Just talking about life. And this one white guy is just on one, just pull him in the office afterwards. And I'm talking to him. I'm like, man, what's going on? I have my supervisor there. I'm like, man, what's going on? What's the problem? It seemed like there's some tension between you and I. There's like some hostilities. And I just want to get to the bottom of it. Excuse me. So I want to get to the bottom of this. And so he's telling me, Eli, it's not you. I'm sorry. When I see you, you remind me of my first time in prison, where these 4 black guys raped me. These 4 black guys raped me the first time I came to prison. And I'm looking at you and you remind me of them. It's nothing that you're doing. It's nothing that you're saying. You just remind me of them. And so, there are people in our lives that's going to trigger us. Not because of anything that they've done, but because there's some issues we need to resolve. Because Source, Universe, God, the Most High is telling us, look, I'm sending these people into your life to trigger you. I'm sending these people into your life to piss you the fuck off. I'm sending these people in your life to get you on one. Why? Because you have some baggage that you're fucking carrying that it's time for you to let go. You're carrying some shit with you, and you've been carrying this shit with you for a long ass fucking time. It's time for you to put it down. It's time for you to let it go. It's time for you to resolve this shit and move on. How long are you going to keep carrying this bullshit? How long are you going to keep carrying this foolishness? This is why you're being triggered. But you don't want to deal with this shit. And yet, when this person dogs you the fuck out, this person comes and they mistreat everything about you. You're so fucking loving. You're so fucking forgiving. You're so fucking compassionate. Why is it that you're so compassionate to this person who's raped you and violated you over and over and over? Why is it you're so understanding and compassionate and giving to this person who's robbed you and stole so much from you? Why is it that you're so forgiving, so trusting to this person who's abused you physically, emotionally, who's broken your heart over and over and over and over, and you're willing to go left and cut people out your life because they trigger you? They've never done anything to you. They've never offended you. They've never hurt you. They've never disrespected you. They've never called you outside your name. They've only given you the utmost respect, and you're cutting them off and you're cussing them out and you're so angry at them. And you're so loving and tolerant of these people. How the fuck is that possible? Elijah, how can you hate white men so fucking much? They've never done anything to you per se. And yet your father despised you from the time you were born. Your father has rejected you and hurt you and abused you over and over and over. And all you want to do was give him love. All you want to do was to show him that you are worthy. All you want to do was to show him, Daddy, I love you, and da 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 da. And you are never going to be accepted by him. You are never going to be respected by him. You are never going to be cherished by him. But all you wanted to do was to be loved and cherished by your Father, who is never going to love you, who is never going to cherish you. Why? Because he had his fucking issues. And nothing you did was ever going to help him come or grow into loving you. Nothing you could do is going to help him grow into respecting and cherishing and valuing you. Why are you wasting so much fucking time trying to appease this motherfucker who don't give a fuck about you? He's shown you that. And you're ready to go to war with people who've never hurt you. You're ready to go to war with people who's never disrespected you. Who's never done anything vile or hateful to you. They just triggered you. You're pissed off at them because of some shit that happened before you were fucking born. You wasn't around when the black people was being hung in Mississippi and down south. You wasn't around when Malcolm was shot and killed. I know it was a black man that did it. But you wasn't around when they conspired against Malcolm. You wasn't around when the FBI conspired against King. You wasn't around when they treated Marcus Garvey the way that they did. You wasn't around when they're blowing up churches and killing those little kids in Selma, Alabama. You wasn't around when they did the things that they did to the Native Americans. And yet you hate all white men for some shit that you never personally fucking experienced. But you experienced this shit right here. You experienced this shit right here at the hands of your own Father. I'm not telling you to hate your father, but how can you love your father and hate these people who've never done anything to you? How can you worship and idolize your father who's rejected you, who's beat your fucking ass as a little baby, who's, man, said so much hateful shit towards you? How can you love your father who murdered your mom right in front of you, stabbed her 49 times out of pure anger and hatred, and you love and idolize this man, and you hate these people who's never done anything to you? How is that possible? What does that say about you? I'm not telling you to hate your father, but help me understand this, Eli. How can you love this man who's caused you so much fucking pain? How can you idolize and want to be like this motherfucker who's hurt you and everybody that he's come in contact with? You put him on this pedestal of what a man is. And you hate white guys. And so I was thinking about that. See, God always has a way of talking to me in a language that I understand. And so a lot of you have problems with me using profanity. And that's your issue. That ain't got shit to do with me. You know what I mean? That's your problem. Take that up with you and your God. You know what I mean? But that's what I need for God to get my understanding, for God to talk to me, for me to understand God. You know what I mean? I need somebody that's going to keep this shit real with me in a language that I understand. And so as God is having this heart-to-heart conversation with me about my ignorance and my stupidity and just my illogic thought process, I had to look at the shit. I couldn't keep faking the funk. I couldn't keep acting like my daddy was perfect. I couldn't keep acting like all white men was the fucking problem. I'm not excusing or dismissing or minimizing what those white guys did in the past. But those guys are gone. They're going to have their karma. They're going to have to deal with the shit that they've done. But I'm not going to mistreat all white guys living now because of some shit that their ancestors, that maybe weren't even their ancestors, some shit that other white guys did. That's the same shit that I used to get so pissed at because people would always group me with every other black guy. I'm not every other fucking black guy. I'm not the motherfuckers that raped you. Going back to this guy in prison. I'm not the black guys that raped you. Going back to this white woman. But yet they're putting me in the same fucking category. They're putting me in the same fucking boat. And that's putting me on one because that ain't got shit to do with me. Why? You know that ain't got shit to do with me, but you're still putting me in that same fucking boat. You're still putting me in that same fucking category. You're still stereotyping me. And God had to show me, Elijah, that's what you're doing with all these white guys. You're stereotyping white guys because of the shit that's happened in the past. These white guys right here ain't have shit to do with that. Why are you putting them in that same fucking boat? You didn't have shit to do with that man being raped in prison. You didn't have shit to do with that woman being raped. She wasn't even from California. She was from some other state. You didn't have shit to do with both situations. And yet, they put you in that category. And it pissed you off. It offended you. Because you know that's not what you're about. You know that's not the shit that you do. I allowed you to experience these things, Elijah. I allowed this woman to be triggered by you. So she could say the things she said to you. I allowed this white guy to be triggered by you. So he could say the things that he did. Why? Because that's the only way that I could get your fucking attention. That's the only way that I could show you and let you taste karma. See, you had to experience being grouped together. You had to experience being put in a category of low vibrating bullshit. For you to understand, damn, that's what I'm doing to all these white guys. I'm ready to go to war and kill all white guys for some shit that happened so long ago. These guys had nothing to do with it. Simply because they're white and they're males. I want to go to war with them. We have to grow up. We have to deal with our bullshit. Why do you love those people that dog you the fuck out? And when I say why do you love, why do you kiss their fucking ass? Why do you tolerate that bullshit? Why do you accept that bullshit? Why do you believe that you deserve that? Why do you think that it's okay for them to treat you the way that they do? next emotional response to some underlying issues. Our job, shadow work, going and diving into the subconscious thoughts, the dark nights of the soul. All these different terms, it's the same thing. What I mean, all these different is for us to deal with our issues, to get to the root cause of what's causing us pain and suffering and woo-doo-doo, to get to the root of the problem. See, it'd have been so easy for me to say, man, I'm prejudiced towards these white guys because some shit happened in my life. Okay, well, what the fuck happened in my life? Damn, I sit back and I think about it. I dive into this. Well, ain't shit really happened in my life from white guys. You know, I just do it in school, high school, Chris. This motherfucker's cool as hell. That's my brother. It's still my brother. He was white, but I totally forgot about Chris when I'm going through this Let Them Kill White Men. I totally forgot about Chris. Cool ass white boy. And this is what we called him back then. You know what I mean? And it was cool. He's a grown ass man now. Beautiful wife. That's still my boy. You know what I mean? Still my boy. But I totally forgot about my relationship with him. And so God had to show me, Elijah, you're on some bullshit. You're on some bullshit. You're blaming white men for being on some bullshit. No, motherfucker, you're on the bullshit. And to show you how fucked up you are, look at these two situations. Look at how you treat white guys and how you want to go to war with white guys. And look at how you treat your father. Look at how much reverence and respect you give your father. How back-asswards is that? How fucked up is that? We have to grow up. I talk about this stuff all the time because this is all that fucking matters in life. We have to deal with the bullshit. We have to deal with our emotional fucking wounds. We have to deal with our emotional fucking baggage. Why do we keep carrying this fucking pain and suffering? Why do we keep carrying this fucking trauma? Why do we dismiss it? Why do we minimize it? Oh, it wasn't that bad. It was nothing. And I'm okay. I'm beyond that. I'm past that now. No, the fuck you ain't. You ain't. You just don't want to deal with the shit. You don't know how to deal with the shit. You're still sweeping it up under the rug. You're still acting like it wasn't nothing big. You're still acting like it wasn't devastating to you. You're still acting like it wasn't traumatic to you. 20, 30, 40 years later, you're still affected by that shit. You don't think you are, but you are. It's still fucking with your psyche. It's still fucking with your head. Because you don't want to deal with it. My hope and prayer is that something's been said to help you understand we have to grow up. We have to deal with our emotional wounds. We have to deal with our trauma. We have to deal with our baggage. We have to deal with it. You're never going to be all that you came here to be, carrying that trauma and that pain and that suffering around with you and not having healed it. We came here to heal the baggage, to heal the pain, and then show others how to do the same. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.